Thanks everyone joining on Sunday morning. I know this is not easy, especially doing this over a weekend. That too, for those of you in West Coast, it's like very early morning, and East Coast almost close to lunch. Um, so this is one of the most sought after session. Quite a few folks did reach out to me about how to protect their businesses, both from insurance standpoint as well as shielding the businesses and things like that. For those of you who do not know Deepak, he did give one session back last year with Atmiya, breaking barriers for entrepreneurs. That was actually one of the top viewed item within our list. Many people did reach back to me the moment I announced it's Deepak, saying that hey, this is they got influenced, is what I can say. They really liked the past session, and bunch of them even may show up here today's session just because Deepak is presenting it. That's the kind of channel he made it through. But Deepak, thank you for accepting the in a short notice to help the community out here. On behalf of like entire Atmiya, I am really excited to kind of announce you as the presenter, but also really want to thank you to helping this entrepreneur community. Here, majority of them are growing now. Some of them are established, similar to home, but I would say like more than 50% are like growing just a small. They are trying to scale themselves up. So this service is to mostly help them in the right direction. That's where it is. And Deepak is, one of a what I'm like super excited about Deepak ji is he is one of the few who have not only attended like hundreds of sessions in the last few years or thousands of sessions in the last few years, but he also presented thousands of sessions to a bunch of folks. He is a motivational speaker. He has influenced many young entrepreneurs and also established entrepreneurs. This is a good opportunity for all the folks who are joined today to learn and ask any questions. Post it in the chat. I'll try to take up all the questions towards the end of this meeting. Deepak ji, all things back to you. Baton is with you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Hari. Thank you so much. And thank you, Om and Venkat and everybody who has invited me back to this session. And the idea is that how I can contribute in your journey of entrepreneurship. Insurance is one thing, but the whole idea, I'm going to give you a different perspective today because many of us are actually running big businesses. Many of us sometimes ignore small things that can really come as a big catastrophe to our business. So a few things, a few ground rules of the session is I always suggest if you can open your videos, you can open because I would love to communicate with faces instead of boxes. And I want this to be a more of a conversational session rather than a one-way session. So if it is possible for you, I would be happy to see your face. And don't worry about dogs, kids, families running around. So I know that we are all at home on Sunday, and you just keep yourself mute, but feel free to keep yourself visible. Second thing is I want you to answer questions, even if you are not opening your video, but answer my questions when I'm conversing with you, because I don't want a one-way presentation. I don't want to go back. I want this session to be one of the sessions that you would have enjoyed, even if it is an insurance session. Okay, because I know insurance is most boring subject on this earth. I sell insurance, but I still know that people don't want to hear about insurance. Okay, but it is most of the important subject, especially in a country like US, because everything revolves around insurance. So let me share my presentation. And as we name this presentation as Shielding Your Business, why I'm saying shielding your business is because we are going to talk about your business. It's very important that how you can understand and how you can shield your business. There is a very famous gentleman called Captain Charles Plum. Now, Captain Charles Plum is a very decorated Navy pilot and very famous. If you go on Google, you will find many huge successful missions that he has accomplished. So he was on a big mission in one of the wars in Vietnam. And when he was flying that jet, unfortunately, the enemy was able to hit his jet straight. And he has to jump out of the jet to save his life. And when he landed on the ground, he found himself in the enemy's area. And he was captured. He was kept in the prison for 6 months. After a little bit of negotiations of the government, he was released. He came back. He joined the mission again. After a few years, he retired. Now, uh, this is one of his jet he has posted that he used to fly. So after a few years, he retired. And one day, he was having breakfast with his wife in a restaurant. A gentleman walked to him and asked him, "Hey, are you Dr. Charles Plum?" He said, "Yes, I am Dr. Charles Plum. But how do you know me?" He said, "You used to be in Navy, one of the decorated Navy pilot who was captured by the enemy in the Vietnam War." He said, "How the hell you know about me so much? And I don't know you." He said, "Yeah, you don't know me, but I know you because I packed your parachute." And he was shocked. And then this gentleman paused and smiled and said, "And I think it worked." He said, "Yeah, surely it worked. That's why I am here today." Friends, when you are on this entrepreneurship journey, you are no less than Dr. Charles Plum. You are driving this business like that jet. Every day, you are raising the bar of excellence. You are going with that whole speed, but you don't know when some unforeseen circumstances in the form of that missile can hit your business. And at that point of time, when you have to safeguard yourself, your business, your family, you should know who packed your parachute. Yes, I'm talking about who is making sure that when that missile hits your business, and many times entrepreneurs say we were in business for 25 years, but we have never been hit by anything. It's good. We don't drive on the road when we drive a car, and the car company will not allow us to take the car on the road without having an insurance, only because somebody will hit us on the road. We drive all life, but we never have an accident. But we always have that insurance. When something unforeseen happens, we should have a right parachute to bank upon. Give me thumbs up if you all agree with me. Give me thumbs up if you all agree with me. Yes, that's very important. Thank you so much. Because if you don't know who is packing your parachute, who is taking care of that parachute that you've been hanging on to, that you've been keeping behind you when something unforeseen happens, it's very unfortunate. And my experience with a lot of entrepreneurs who have been even running big, huge businesses is we as an entrepreneur in this country take insurance as a tool to conduct our business. Now, when I say a tool to conduct our business, let me elaborate. Let me ask you a few questions. Uh, why do you take insurance? You can answer me this question even in the chat, even if you want to open your video and talk, or if you don't talk, if you answer this question, why do you take insurance? And especially, I'm not talking about health insurance. Somebody is written to protect ourselves and our assets. Okay. Anybody, please do write that why do we take insurance? I want to hear from you. You can speak out. You can write in the group. Why do you think we take insurance? To manage risk, to protect from missiles. Absolutely right. To avoid unplanned expenses and cover future, to mitigate risk, for hedging and managing risk. You all are right. Absolutely right. The whole idea is that there is something called risk, and we take insurance to manage that risk. Simple. But now tell me, how many of you, I'm not talking about in your homes, I'm not talking about regarding your autos, I'm only today talking about your business. How many of you are 100% sure there are 30, 46 people in this group? There are 46 people in the group, and don't hesitate. The idea of today's session is, if you don't know, I will create that awareness. I want to know if how many of you are not sure that your businesses that you're running, whether it's a big business or a small business, is 100% safe for any kind of missiles or unforeseen circumstances. If you say you are not sure, just write no in the chat. Just write no in the chat if you're not sure. And don't hesitate. If you say, if, like, for example, till now one person has written not sure, it means all other 45 are sure. Then I'm going to ask you questions. I'm going to name you and ask you questions. And you want to teach the other people how you are uh, making sure that your business is 100% safe. Try to understand. This is a very, very important. Somebody is saying I'm 70% covered. Dr. Manjula is saying I'm 70% covered now. Okay. So Archana is saying not sure. Naga Pargar is saying not sure. No. A lot of no's are coming now. You know, and even if you don't hesitate, the idea is accepting that you are not sure is a great thing, because at least you will be able to understand that what exactly you are into. Where do you stand in terms of insurance? Where do you stand in terms of your knowledge about insurance? Where do you stand, where your team stands in terms of knowledge about insurance? So that is very, very important for you to understand that how. Now, the smaller the business, the smaller the need of insurance. Is this correct? Of course not. You know, this is a very good point. Somebody writes smaller the business and smaller the need of insurance. In the last 3 years, the data says 70% cyber attacks has happened on small businesses. 70% cyber attacks has happened on small businesses. Om Nakka is written, I'm not 100% covered for both professional and personal liabilities. Okay. I'm glad that you are accepting it, because first, before we even create that awareness, acceptance is the key. SK, I'll come back to you, cyber attacks. We'll come on that particular point. So when we say, why do you take insurance? You take insurance just to make sure that you manage, so that you can manage your risk. Now, when we talk about your business, can anybody tell me what policies do you need to shield your business? What policies do you need to shield your business? Oh, okay, before that, liability insurance, property insurance, everybody is writing. Okay. Before that, tell me, how many of you take insurance because you want to take insurance, or your contract requires you to take insurance? If you think your contract requires you to take insurance, just write contract. Ratneshwar, I'm coming to you to understand both. Anybody else? Contract. Contract. Many contracts are coming. I was expecting this answer. There's a reason behind it. Manjula is raised in general liability, cyber, terrorism, property coverage, EPLI, natural disasters. And I can agree with that she is 70% covered. Okay, so let's understand that most of the time, the insurances that you have written is basically the need of contract. 90% entrepreneurs will not take insurance till the time they are about to sign the contract. And as soon as when they are about to sign the contract, they will, even if they are having no business at that point of time, or they're having bigger business, they have no option but to take that insurance, because the vendor or the prime vendor or whoever you're signing the contract with, they will not give you contract unless you submit that certificate of insurance to them. Am I right? So when that happens, I see a lot of people coming to us on the last day. Oh, we need to submit the COI today. Can you give us insurance today? And a lot of people have also come to us and saying, okay, now we have given to COI to the client. Can we cancel the insurance? Can you believe it? First of all, try to understand. Insurance, certificate of insurance is not for the purpose of contract signing. The certificate of insurance is to safeguard the challenges that can happen in your life. Now, second thing is, when these kind of things happen, the contract insurances, can you tell me, is there any contract insurances, and you can write in the chat also, is there any contract insurances that will safeguard your business? All the insurances, as somebody written above, general liability, what do you call it? E&O, all other insurances, whether it is cyber or can these insurances protect your business? Umbrella, maybe, yes. Can these insurances covers your business? All the policies that is written in the contract. Yes, to some extent. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, to some extent. Business owners insurance. No, I'm not adding. I'm just saying any insurances that you take because it is requirement of the contract, does that covers your business? Venkat Jeti is writing, that's the whole reason we take insurance. It's a very important point to understand. Is that the whole reason we take insurance? Only for purchase insurance coverages. Okay, let me make you understand. Any MSA, master service agreement, when it comes to you, and all the insurances that are required in that is 90% are requirement of the vendor. When somebody is right, for example, I'll make you explain in the very simple words. When you write liability means that you are liable for something to somebody. Okay. Now, all these insurances, whether it is, for example, in cyber, you will never find vendor asking for first party cyber. You will always ask that cyber coverage, crime coverage, and that is never a first party. Because when they will ask for first party, they will not be covered. When they ask for cyber insurance, they will be covered. When they ask for E&O, they will be covered. When your employees are working there, when you are making a product for them, when you are doing anything that they will face, they are covering themselves so that they don't go into any kind of loss, so that they can claim from your insurance. So the idea is, for example, in let's say a lot of people here does staffing business. If your team, your employees are placed at their location and they do some mistake, their insurance will not kick off, your insurance will kick off. That is the idea. They force you, they don't sign the contract without getting a COI from you. And most of those insurances, except few, like general liability. In general liability, there's something called personal injury, there's something called uh, 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 what do you call it, personal injury. When somebody comes to your office, they fall and they claim, and you can use general liability. If somebody claims for any kind of slander or defamation, you can cover in that. But most of the insurances are there. For example, in cyber insurance, if something happens, if cyber attacks happens at your office, most of the insurances that is in their contract will not cover that. If any employee comes and create a defamation suit against you, most of the insurance in the contract will not cover that. Most of the time, all those insurances that a client will ask for is basically to cover their liability, not your. And that's the reason we are forced to take those insurances even very like for example, a lot of client comes to us and they say we need 10 million E&O, we need 5 million E&O. That particular vendor will not give us a contract unless we sign for 10 million. And we tell them, oh, you are a small company, you just started 2 years back, why do you need 10 million? Because that is tax systems requirement, that is XYZ requirement, that is particular organization requirement, because we cannot sign the contract because that company has created some processes and system that they will not empanel any vendor if they will not give us 10 million, 5 million, 7 million insurance. You don't need it. Why will you need 10 million insurance when you have only a business of 1 million? But unfortunately, we get all those requests every day because contract requires. So what I'm trying to do, my friends, is make you understand that they are shielding their business. They are not worried about your business. And this session is all, and a lot of people think, and because one, there is lack of knowledge about insurance. Second, even you have HR team sitting there, they also don't have knowledge about insurance. Third, lot of other agents in the market try to sell insurance at a lower cost by reducing the coverages. Now, let me give you some examples. If I have to give you an insurance of cyber insurance by giving you 50,000 deductible, a 2 million insurance, by giving you 50,000 deductible, your insurance loss will be insurance premium will be very low. Now, you will be happy that you got an insurance, you got a certificate of insurance, and you will be able to sign the contract. Tomorrow, if a loss happens of $30,000 and your vendor comes to you with that loss, $30,000, do you think you will be able to get the claim? Can you please tell me yes or no? If a loss happens of $30,000 and you have taken an insurance of 2 million with a $50,000 deductible, do you think can you claim? I'm glad Venu is saying don't know. Anybody else? Everybody knows about it, or you don't know? My friends, yes, Sumant, you're right. You cannot claim because deductible is $50,000. You have to first cover that loss of $50,000. And we have seen cases. Recently, there was a case from Charlotte where a gentleman lost $50,000. He came to us. His agent was not picking up phone. He said, "Can you look at my insurance policy?" We looked at his insurance policy, and very straightforward, he has 50,000 deductible and he had a loss of $50,000. I said, "You cannot claim because you have to cover first 50,000. If the loss is $60,000, then only you can take that $10,000 from there." So these are small things that you will not even know that how. For example, another example, let's say you have a revenue of $10 million. You come to me, I say, "Okay, Deepak, this is my revenue. I will do this policy for you." Deepak will give you a policy premium of $5,000. You go to some other agent and you come to Deepak. "Deepak, this agent is giving me a premium of $3,000. Now, first of all, understand, no insurance company will give Deepak or some other agent different premium. No insurance agency, whether it's Hartford, whether it's Hanover, the premiums are going to be same from everywhere. The only challenge is, what will agent do? They will reduce your revenue when he's quoting it. If I reduce your revenue from 10 million to 5 million or 2 million, I can bring down the quote. Now, the challenge here is, if you are reducing the revenue, you're allowed to reduce the revenue. Nobody stops you, because if you have written and to me, "Deepak, my revenue is $5 million this year," I can do it. But if you have not given me that permission, I should not do it. Why? Because again, I'm going to take an example of a car. If a car is of 10 lakhs and you're covering it at 5 lakhs, do you think the car company will pay you the claim when it happens? They will say, "You bought a Tesla, but you are actually covering a Honda, cost of Honda. How will I be, when the claim happens, why should I pay you?" But life is good till the time claim doesn't happen. But you are playing, you're walking on the eggshells, literally, when you are not following the simple thing of make sure whenever you are, any agent who's giving you the quote, tell him, show us on what revenue he has quoted your policy. It's like your policy, your business has been evaluated on this revenue. Most of the people become happy. "Oh, Deepak gave me 5,000, XYZ is giving me 3,000, I'll go with XYZ. I can also give you 3,000, provided you give me in return email that, "Deepak, please take our revenue as 3,000, because tomorrow, if something happens, I can come back to you and say, you confirm that your revenue is 300,000, 3 million, whatever." So I'm just trying to create awareness that how, when you look at different premiums from different agencies, these are the reasons. I'll give you one more example. Under every insurance, there are different parts that can be covered. For example, in cyber, there is a part called ransomware, that somebody grab your data, make you totally not able to work on your computers, and then sends you a message that, "Give me $500,000, then only I will release your data." That is called ransomware. Somebody, what do you call it? Attack your mails, means they will actually impersonify you and use your email address to send email to somebody. That's called social engineering fraud. Somebody calls your bank or somebody withdraws money from your bank. That's called bank transfer fraud. Okay, there are different kinds of parts of this. There is something called computer fraud. Okay, so something called data breach. Somebody breach into your data, take your data, and you lost because of stealing of that data. Now, all these different parts are part of cyber coverages, crime coverages. Even if I remove one endorsement in that part, let's say I take out social engineering fraud, You will not even know, but you are not covered for social engineering fraud, whereas your certificate of insurance will show cyber insurance, and your client will not say anything. Your client will give you the contract. But when the claim something like that happen, and you come to the insurance company, claim adjuster, they will say this was not part of it. I'll give you an example of social engineering fraud. Recently in New Jersey, somebody got hit by around $100,000 claim where an email came to them and they transferred money on wrong bank account. And this gentleman came to us. He said, I had first party cyber insurance. And when we said, okay, send us the policy document, when he sent us the policy document, everything was there except social engineering fraud that will cover this kind of incidents. We said, sorry, sir, this cannot be covered because your agent has removed an important clause from it. Because of that, premium has come down. My friends, premium is going to differ like $200, $500, maximum $1,000, because that discount is given by us from our commissions. But losses are big. Losses are big. When something like $50,000 happen, you are ready to give even $10,000 at that point of time and say, can you give us a backdated insurance? I will give you $10,000 because the loss is $15,000. So my question to every single entrepreneur is, why are you walking on eggshells and for what? Because think big. You will think big, you will be able to earn big businesses, and insurance will be very small part of it. You will be happy when you go in the night home, you will be able to sleep well. You will be able to sleep well. And that is the objective of us as Four Oaks Insurance. Our tagline is insurance done right. Insurance done right. Now, I will not talk about all the insurances that you already have. I will just name few insurances. For example, you will have general liability insurance, you will have E&O insurance, you will have cyber insurance, you will have commercial auto insurance, you will have hired and non-hired auto insurance. All these insurances are part of your client's requirement because they will not let you move without these insurances. I'll talk about three major insurances that you as an individual will not know, you will never take. And Om is sitting here. Om has seen so many cases, even in New Jersey itself, that a lot of people who have not taken insurance, they came to us even after I have created this kind of awareness, and they came to us saying, can we take backdate insurance? Because yesterday we had a loss. No, friends, once the accident has happened, anything that has happened before the date of insurance, then only you can cover. You are not covered. Anything happens before taking the insurance. So I'll give you a few examples. The one of the insurance is cyber insurance. Now, most of the people have insurance. There is no doubt about it. We'll talk about this case study of it, that cyber insurance, which cyber insurance I'm talking about. Tell me, what is the difference between, and please speak, because even if you don't know, share your knowledge, whatever knowledge you have, so that I understand. I want to know from anybody, what is the difference between a third party insurance, cyber insurance, and the first party cyber insurance? Unmute yourself and start speaking. If you have whatever knowledge, or even if you understand by the name, let's understand from you what is your understanding about it. Anybody? Don't hesitate, friends. You are entrepreneurs. Your idea is
Maybe
to talk
when,
about.
yep,
Yeah,
yep, Deepak, yeah. If a vendor got sued by somebody else, and if a vendor in turn sues us, then it may be a third party coverage or third party insurance claim.
Okay. And what is first party?
Directly, if we are affected by the threat and whether insurance covers that or not, that's the first party. Let's say let's say my business got sued by some vendor directly, right? So
Very close.
RS
So
hybrid.
third party is when you take insurance to cover the third party. Simple. Third party in your case is your people who are giving you contract. You're signing the contract with. They are covering themselves with that insurance. I'll give you for example. Your employee is working there. You're working on a product. You're working on an employee. You're working on a project. If they do something wrong at their location and they suffer losses, the loss can be form of data, the loss can be form of any ransomware, the loss can be form of anything. Sometimes it happens that some cases we have seen where an employee has, there was a recent case where a husband was using wife's laptop to convert something, and then the for some reason the data came into husband's laptop, and then husband was leaving the organization. He returned the laptop. When the company opened it, they saw the data of another company in that there, and they called that company, and then the company sued. These kind of cases happens very regularly. You may not hear it, but we are insurance, we are into insurance, we hear it every day. A guy left India, left US without returning the computer. The whole data went with him. And the company, a vendor sued the contract, the supplier for that they have a very expensive data, they're very important data, and the data is going to, we are going to go into losses for because of that.
Yeah,
When
I've
the
seen that.
so
Even
think,
without losses, they just put the
yeah,
claims.
even without losses, they will say it. Okay. So you go into so much of challenges in that, in all those things. That is basically third party, and they are covering themselves with that. But let me tell you, the cases of third party are much lower in comparison to first party. Now, let me give you some example of first party. And 90% chances are that if there are 47 people sitting in this group, there will be 10 to 20% people will have first party and 99% people will have third party. The reason is same, that 99% people have third party because they cannot sign the contract. And the 1% who don't have third party, the client has not asked for it. Otherwise, he would have also had it. And 20% will have first party because client has not asked for it and you have not felt the need of it. That is the reason. So it means you are 99% of people are covering the client's business, but you are not covering your own business. I'll give you a lot of cases every day. Yesterday only, I got a call. I'm in India currently. I got a call from Chicago that this has something crazy has happened. Now, these are cases like you will receive a mail, your accounts will receive a mail from client that their bank account has changed. The email ID will be, name will be same, but there may be a change in the word in the email ID. You will not even get to know. And they will say, our email has changed. You will transfer the money. And later on, you will realize that you have transferred into the wrong because that client is not there. If somebody else hacked or impersonate your email ID and sent you email. This is one case. Second case, and these are very common, and the idea is you have to teach your employee at your office about all these cases so that whenever something like this happens, they should talk to you before taking action. This is a case, very typical case. A CEO of a company getting into a flight to India, and a message comes from his phone. A WhatsApp message comes from his phone that, let's say I'm the finance guy and he's writing, hey Deepak, I just reached airport and getting into my flight. I've already boarded, flight is about to fly, but there is an urgent requirement. I have committed that I will transfer $50,000 to Om Nakka. Can you please transfer $50,000? Now, if Deepak is receiving mail from a message on my phone from my boss, and boss is not contactable, and immediately after that phone will switch off, and what will I do? I will say, boss has said urgent, and I will literally transfer money. And when the person has reached Delhi or Hyderabad, and then they called and said, I see this transaction of $50,000. He said, you only messaged me. He said, no, I never messaged you. This is the second kind of cases. Third kind of cases are that somewhere on Friday or Thursday, and these cases happen on Friday and Thursday, suddenly you will see a withdrawal from your bank account. And the biggest withdrawal I've seen is 120,000, 30, 30, 30, 30, every half an hour at 11 o'clock in the night. Okay. Now, 30, 30, 30, 30, somebody in Raleigh. And this guy was traveling from New Jersey to Raleigh, and he was in the car. Suddenly, his messages start beeping. And 120,000 was withdrawn. He never realized that's a message from bank. He was driving, he didn't check this message. When he reached home around 2 o'clock in the night, he saw 120,000 was withdrawn from his bank. And next day when he went to bank, luckily it was Thursday. He was able to get back that money. Somehow bank was able to trace that transfer of money. But if it happens on Friday, most of the time I've seen a lot of cases happening on Friday because of Saturday and Sunday, banks are closed. And after 2 days, the money goes somewhere. It goes to third countries. It get transferred to transfer to transfer. They are not able to trace it. So we all are sitting at a big risk. We all are doing so much of hard work every day. We are putting in so much of money. There are few things people have adopted. One, they have, apart from taking insurance, I'm talking about, they educate your staff. Never act on a mail unless you speak to a person. Okay, now there is a recent case in Philadelphia with one of very close friend of IT Serve. He said, Deepak ji, you always used to tell us that please check with them. He said we were trying to call our client, and client was not picking up phone, and we replied to that mail that we are trying to call you. Can you call us back? Do you think it's the right thing? The hacker called back. Can you believe it? The hacker called back because the mail is sent by a hacker, and the mail is going back to hacker, and hacker called back on the number they have given, and hacker said yes. And hacker was nobody else. He was speaking in Telugu. And he said, yes, you were trying to reach me. He said, yes. He said, you sent a mail to us to change the bank. He said, yeah, I sent the mail. Yeah, you can send the money to new bank account. I know it is dangerous. It's scary. But my friends, that's the reality of life. It's happening. We hear it every day. I'm not scaring you. I'm telling you the truth that is happening. So, whatever insurance you're taking because of contract, the one insurance that is the most important insurance is first party cyber insurance. And make sure that you have all these coverages in that. Even if you're not taking from us, you're taking from anybody else, one of your friend. After taking that insurance, even if you come to me and say, Deepak ji, can you evaluate our insurance? Can you see our insurance? Can you look at our policy? Is this okay? I would be happy to do that for Atmiya's member. I would love to help you out because I have very good relationship with Om, Venkat, and everybody. But the whole idea is we want to serve our community and make sure that everybody plays safe in their business. Just don't take the insurances for the sake of name. Take insurances because you want your business to be shielded. So second insurance that I want to talk about is, which is playing a game here, is employee practices liability insurance. Now, I'm going to share a case studies here also. What happens? Anybody understand what is EPLI? Any idea? EPLI is called Employee Practices Liability Insurance. what happens when employee plays some practices. When you deal with employees, somebody have 50 people on roll, somebody has 10 people on roll, somebody has 1,000 people on roll. There are so many people who normally get triggered with a lot of external forces on small thing. For example, there are I've seen cases where people have got triggered only because they have not been assigned leave, or they have not been given some bonus that was promised, and they went and sued the employer. Now, you may think recently somebody got sued on for a sexual offense, one employer, and there's 100% proof that there was nothing against that employer. I know that person very well. We did all the research. We read all the documents on the case. Everything was so clear. This guy ultimately won the case. That was a wrongful act on behalf of employee. The only thing, he spent more than $50,000 for 3 years for fighting that case. Now, where that money will come from? Either your pocket, or if you have an EPLI. EPLI, if something is proved, the compensation in these kind of cases is minimum like $75,000, 50,000, not less than $50,000. If it is proved. But even if it is a wrong case, you have to spend time and money on that from your pocket. So EPLI covers any kind of court decree. If court decides that you have to pay this much of money to this gentleman, or any cost associated with that particular lawsuit. Especially people who have more than 20 employees and they are working, and as the employees grows, the chances of triggering these EPLI cases are higher, because they are dealing with your HR, they are dealing with your finance people. You don't know where the whole relationships get sore, and they can just go and just file a case. Even there, it's very easy to file a case under EPLI. But no vendor will ask for EPLI, because EPLI, now try to understand. Vendor are asking for other insurances. No, they are not asking for EPLI in 90% cases. The reason is they are your employees. Even somebody sue, they will not sue XYZ company where they are working. They will sue the employer. Employer is you. So this is another insurance. It's a very straightforward insurance. Any kind of cases regarding defamation, any kind of sexual offense, any kind of discrimination falls under EPLI. And third thing, which I just thought of sharing with you, is if you have a bigger company where there are more than 2 or 3 directors in the company, and the company is big, there are partners, then directors and officers insurance also helps. That is an insurance that is basically to cover any kind of lawsuits these directors can put on each other, or outside people can put on each other. I don't want to go on detail on that, but I would like to now open the session for questions. If you have any questions with regard to insurance. Hari, if you have any questions in the group, you can ask me. Otherwise,
Yes.
I would appreciate people can ask questions directly also.
I have few questions already compiled for you, Deepak. I was just like waiting on. Sure. First of all, thanks. There's a lot of, it's not only good info, but you definitely seem like a motivational, convincing speaker. That's awesome. Something that, all of us should learn from you. Okay. The couple of questions I have is, this is mostly on the business insurance side. Seems like this is stemmed more on, why people focus more on per contract, but they don't focus on their own specific business versus personal. So the question that they are asking is, when they are buying these insurances or when they are accommodating, how do I divide like business versus personal versus pure contract specific? What should they be looking out for?
Can you just try to make it clear? So business insurance is business insurance. It could be for contract related or for your business related. For example, all the insurances that I talked about, E&O, general liability, cyber, all those are actually mostly are in contracts. Okay, commercial auto, but these three insurances that I talked about, first party cyber, EPLI, and directors and officers, this no contractor will ask, because this is not for them. This is for your business. So you have to evaluate the size of your business and take these insurances, especially with regard to EPLI and directors and officers. First party cyber is important for everyone, because even if you have $50,000 in your account and somebody hacks it, somebody writes a wrong mail to you, even you losing a $10,000 is a big loss for anybody. So first party cyber is happening like anything. More than insurance, I would like to tell everyone that you should be very careful and inform your staff to be very careful when taking action on any change that is happening. Be it a bank account, be it a call, be it a message, where a transaction of money is involved. Eh, Tell them that without talking to you or without talking to somebody senior in the organization, they should not transact money where there is a change or there is a sudden doubt that is there. So you will really save a lot of insurance money also when your team will be careful on that.
Okay, I think there is another kind of similar follow-up question, but maybe this is, let me put it this way. So if they want to do this business-related insurance versus personal-related insurance, how do they what should they be looking out to approach? For example, Deepak, I think this is more like when should they reach out to you versus, when should they reach out someone who is only doing personal insurance?
No, so for example, Forex does everything. So
Okay.
we do personal lines also. Personal related means auto and home. These are two, auto and home insurance, and a lot of people do umbrella also. So for example, if you have a auto insurance coverage of $50,000, then if somebody claims for more than $50,000, you need to have an umbrella. Okay, and if your house has an insurance of 1 million or 3 million, whatever it is, if you get into a situation where the claim is higher than that, then people normally take cover. So if you have a great lifestyle, you have bigger houses, you have few cars, it's a good idea to have an umbrella insurance. This is called personal umbrella. Okay, that, and then there are two insurances in personal, which is auto and home. So these are the two insurances. Business insurances I already talked about. So
Okay.
you can reach to us for anything. We do business, we do personal, we do health insurance.
Okay, totally makes sense. Now, the next one I have here is more on I think this is more on a business travel related topic. The specific question is covering the employees for accidents or illness or other losses while traveling.
So that is normally covered under what do you call it? This workers' compensation insurance.
Okay.
It is normally covered under worker. Recently, there was a case in Houston where an employee was traveling to Austin, and he met with an accident. He was on work. Okay, so he was covered under workers' compensation insurance. But there is something called hired and non-hired auto insurance, where an employee takes his car or lease a car from, let's say, any company like Avis or Hertz, and go on an office trip. So that those kind of things, car accident, liability, and any kind of accident covers under these kind of insurances.
Makes sense. Another one here is they're talking about any losses due to employee dishonesty or theft. Especially, they're talking more, they have like
That's
some
all.
either fed.
There is a case again in Dallas. I have a lot of case studies, so I will talk about giving you an example. There was a case in Dallas where an employee was doing an extra salary for 5 years, and the employer was, it's a big organization, and employer has never looked into it. He just signed on the salary, and after 5 years, he came to know that there was a regular money was going out on a particular account, and then this employee was fired. And but there was a huge loss this employer has borne, but unfortunately he had a uh, he didn't have a first party crime insurance. So now it's like first party cyber only. First party crime is basically any employee who's sitting in your office do any kind of crime. So any dishonesty, any manipulation, anything like that. So that is covered under that. So normally people don't even take first party crime. They only take crime bond, especially for third party. So if you have a lot of employees working in your organization and the money goes through a lot of hands, it's always good to have a first party crime also.
Got it. Another one is, this is primarily stemming again, Deepak ji, from, they're saying, hey, we have this LLC on, the person name or with partners, they have this. They want to kind of, separate this from their personal family type of insurance. So that means essentially they have a business with partners. If there is any losses or anything that kind of stems into the business, the question they are asking is, how do I separate this, my family matter with the business matter?
I think I think I am not, very few people ask this question, but this is a very important question. So basically what the person is trying to ask, if anything happens to business, the vendors or the suppliers or the customers should not come after my personal assets.
Right.
Am I right? So
Correct.
this is what basically they're asking, and I think this covers under, there is one insurance, I think directors and owners insurance something, but I can definitely get back to you and email it to you, the exact answer
Okay.
on that, and you can pass
Okay,
it
no
to the.
problem. Awesome. Okay, then the another one I have is, there is this cyber insurance seems to be super expensive. I think one of them was asking about what is the cost look like now, or is there a better way to package them, to
I would
obtain
like to
this?
ask the question, expensive compared to what? No, for example, for me, it could be expensive, even $1,000 could be expensive. I have seen cyber insurance, first party cyber going for $1,800 also, $1,400 also, $5,000 also. Okay. It has a direct correlation to your revenue of the company. Okay. If your revenue is 50 million and you are taking a cyber insurance, it may cost you $10,000. If your revenue is 1 million and you're taking a first party cyber, it may cost you $1,500. So, sir, Venkat Jetty Singh, compared to 5 to 6 years ago, any insurance compared to 5 to 6 years ago is expensive, to be very candid. But again, I would suggest, I always tell people, if you have a requirement, ask us. We are not charging anything for the quotes. Okay, you give us the information, you tell us what exactly you're looking for. We will run a quote and we'll make you understand what all it covers, and then you take an informed decision. You are not bound to bind the quote by only getting a quote. Okay, if you think that is not your budget at this point of time, you can always take a decision at that point of time. And rather, I would also write my email ID in the group so that you can free to ask me any questions or request us for anything that you want.
Yeah, no, I'll share this email ID with our broader community, Deepak. I have your contact details also, and that other presentation that you're going to send to me, I'm going to send to broader group anyway. Another question, maybe, see, to reframe that question in a different way, I think what they're looking out is, Deepak, when, see, from their business perspective, how, like, what all should they package for a better deal when they're looking out for this business insurance? Is it like kind of a altogether one? Is it like a specific type of business they are in? They should be like separating these out. Maybe they are looking out for like what is the best way of packaging them.
My suggestion is, never go to an agent saying give us these insurances. Okay, always treat your agent as a business insurance advisor. Understand, make your HR team sit on the call, you sit on the call and understand. I'll give you an example. A lot of people, so recently, what we normally do, we say, okay, when we are doing an evaluation of a company, we say, please send us your policies. Okay. When people send us their policy, Hari, you will not believe that we have seen insurance companies, our friends, entrepreneurs who have got 10 million policy for the last 5 years. Okay. But they don't have any requirement of 10 million policies. They have taken a 10 million policies 5 years back because they had a project. The project finished, but HR never canceled their 10 million policy. Now imagine for so many years, they're paying 10 million premium. I can give them also 10 million insurance. It's a profit for me. But as an insurance advisor, I go back and tell them, sir, you don't have any requirement in your contracts for 10 million. Why are you keeping this 10 million? That's my job. I will tell them, you don't have a first party cyber. Rather, you reduce your 10 million to 5 million and use that money into first party cyber. And that's why day in and day night, I get so many referrals only because we create awareness. And I always say awareness precedes choices and choices precedes results. Because you have right awareness, you will make right choices. When you make right choices, your results will be fantastic.
Yeah, totally. I agree with you. Okay, I think we are a little bit over time, but I do have like a bunch of questions. But where
I
can
don't
they
mind
reach you,
for
Deepak?
like 5 minutes to ask any
Okay.
more questions. I'm fine.
Okay. So okay, then I'll ask like another two questions. I'm just like quickly consolidating them. So this is, I don't know like how much you can answer, but this is more like they have a companies, they have the subcontractors, they are doing the actual, background of contracts and verification and all of that. These guys are only doing kind of a body shop subcontracting. But then they ran into the situations of the main company who is doing the contracts are not well covered, but these guys being subcontractors, there is a penalty on some of them. I think they're trying to ask a question like, what kind of insurance should they be covering?
Can we ask the gentleman to connect with me? It's going to be a little
Okay.
long discussion.
Yeah.
In person, and we can talk in detail.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll mention that Hari Yeramsetti, maybe, I'll share the contact of Deepak's, so you can directly reach out to him. Seems like that's going to be a little bit lengthy discussion. The another, maybe, I'm like, again, making one more generic discussion here. Another one is, Deepak, like, is there really, the insurance is really based on the number value, or should they be looking out the type of business that they are in? I think this is stemming because I'll tell you the example why. There are like a couple of people also ask similar question. I think it is stemming. They have LLCs, but they are only doing, like, some of them are only doing a specific type of business. Say they are only doing banking business. They're only supplying for, say, some Java developers into a specific domain area. Their question is, how do we, because these are all, majority of these people are from IT consulting companies. What they are trying to ask is, hey, I have 20-30 people in my team. I'm like trying to make a business around, say, this 5 million revenue. Do I have to look, this to cover the 5 million per annum? Is that how I compute my numbers for insurance coverage? Or they're asking, no, my business is, say, I'm doing a federal contracts. Penalty is huge, bigger than 5 million contracts. How do I approach this? Is it based on the domain, based on the, number value?
So, first of all, whether it is federal or it is private, every vendor has a very clear requirement that this is. So we do a lot of insurance for federal contracts. Also, we do insurances for private contracts also. So the numbers are always written. It is, yes, but if in federal contract number doesn't change, But in private contracts, and the vendor is not a very well-known vendors like bigger names, Randstad or Tech Systems. If you go and talk to your vendors and say, why you're asking for 5 million? Can we bring it to 3 million? And I've seen people agreeing to it. So that way you can definitely don't pick up the copy of the contract and send it to us. Okay. Many times we go back and okay, I have just started the business. My only revenue is 1 million. I'm only giving you one resource. You are asking me 5 million insurance. So small vendors, which are small prime vendors, which are not bigger fish in the market, they agree, they negotiate. Okay. So there's no harm in asking. One way is to reduce the value of the insurance is that. Second is you try to see that how you can come. If you, a lot of people have got one company, two companies, three companies, and they have same name. Well, I have 50% share in their first company, I have 50% in second company, I have 100% in third company. Now, no agent will tell you, but I'm telling you this thing today. If you have three companies and you have more than 51% share in every company, you can combine all three companies, both in health insurance, both in business insurance. And your cost of business insurance will come down to equivalent to one or one and a half company.
Oh, wow.
So I have reduced more than $20,000 for people in insurance by combining their three or four companies. So one, if you are today, you are at, let's say a lot of people open a second company when they reach 50 people. So today you have opening a new company, make sure that some partner has a 51% share in that company to save on insurance, and never have insurance to two separate companies. Combine them and it will help you save the cost. Two conditions. One, 51%. Second, they have to be in the same business. So you cannot have a one IT consulting business, one healthcare consulting. These are two different businesses. You cannot combine them, even if you have 51%. And so you have to have the similar business and 51%. You will be able to save the money, a lot of money.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's a good strategy. Thanks for sharing, Deepak. I think then we can close
Nobody
with
does
that.
it. We have been teaching people. People take 5 companies and they're having 5 insurances different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
will
No,
get,
thanks.
but you will get COI separately from, it is combined from the back end. From the front end, you will get, you say COI for A company, COI for B companies, COI for, we'll give you separate COI for all the companies.
Sure. Okay. That's awesome. I think, we can close on this high note, Deepak.
Sure.
And thanks once again for, I know you are in India, in Delhi, and taking this time for us during your travels. Super helpful. I'm also going to share all your contacts with this rest of the group, including this
Sure.
recorded presentation, so that other folks who could not join also can listen into it. And
Absolutely.
those of you who joined, thanks again joining on Sunday morning. Have a good rest of your day. Deepak, good night for you. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.